from the kitchen, folks. I've got a different kind of film for you tonight. It's a beer review. It's an unboxing beer review, and it's not beer that I've brewed myself. It's beer which has been branded with Street Sounds. Okay, so first of all, this is not an endorsement video. I've not been paid by Street Sounds. This is me as a fan of Street Sounds that's bought into their products for many, many years. And I want to show you some of the beers that they've had brewed for them. So first of all, I'm sure that some of you out there are thinking, who the heck are Street Sounds? Well, let me introduce you to Street Sounds. This is one of their albums. This is Street Sounds Electro 5. And essentially, established in 1982, Street Sounds were one of the first labels to bring hip-hop compilation albums to the UK. Electronic hip-hop, because the sound before the boom bap era of the sort of mid to late 1980s and onwards, the sound of hip-hop was very much electronic. So it was branded as Street Sounds Electro. And it says on here, special mixed full-length versions. And this is what all the albums were. So on this album, for example, Electro 5, just as an example, it's got artists such as Great Pizzo and Mr. Nasty, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Knights of the Turntables, The Egyptian Lover, Arthur Baker, Captain Rock, Aleem, Fantasy 3 and the High Fidelity 3. Now, you might not have heard of any of them, and it doesn't matter, but essentially there were a bunch of people that are now my age, that as teenagers in the 1980s, waiting for these to come out in the record shops. We could buy them, we could listen to the latest tracks and throw ourselves on a piece of lino on the floor and try and breakdance. Yeah, some of us were better than others. I actually wasn't that good at breakdancing, although I was a better popper because I'm a big chap, you know, so we didn't really throw ourselves around, but I could still do stuff like this and all that malarkey. Hey. Anyway, look, Street Sounds, I've always loved the brand, and now I want to see if I love the beer. So there's another album by them as well. This is Electro 4. And again, it's got some, you know, some pretty cool artwork. If you look on the back of 5, where obviously the vinyl one's better for looking at, it is pretty cool. It was very cutting edge for its time. Definitely sort of predates Ministry of Sound when it comes to dance compilation albums. Anyway, these are the Electro beers. They have branded the beers based upon the Electro albums. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 there. So Street Sound started promoting this as far as I can remember in 2022, and I think the first beer came out in late 2022, and then the rest of them came out throughout 2023. And if you ordered all 5, you got a free Street Sounds t-shirt. So I did get this as a gift for ordering the beers, and I'm very grateful for that. It goes nicely with the hat, although I'm not one of those full kit people on a normal occasion. I'm just celebrating Street Sounds today. So that's the introduction. What I want to do in this film now is show you the beers, talk through them and try them. Now there's 5 beers there of varying strengths. I'm not going to have all 5 tonight, so I'm going to review 2 of them tonight and the rest of them this week. I've got no clue which beers are in which boxes, incidentally, so I'm just going to open the first one and see what I've got. I've never ever opened these boxes, ever, so I'll just show you what it looks like from above. So you open it up, you've still got all this here, all the branding, very cool, and this is a number 5, okay, there you go. So this is a 440ml cherry sour, 6% ABV, 100% organic, and who is it brewed by? So this looks like it's brewed by the Deviant and Dandy Brewery. So it's a Deviant and Dandy Brewery, 6% ABV, cherry sour, a 440ml can. And you can see, look how it's branded, like the album. I think that is pretty cool, and it's for the nostalgia value. I really, really do like that. Now these cans have been designed so the labels are peelable, because the labels themselves are pieces of artwork. So I can peel these labels off and display them in some way. I need to think about how I'm going to do that. Anyway, that's number 5. So I'll take one of them out. Just the same as the last. And this one has got, coincidentally, number 4. So let me show you the cassette. So it's pretty cool, isn't it? In fact, let's get the picture for the front of the video. Anyway, who was on number 4, incidentally? So there was Radioactive, Pumpkin and the Profile All-Stars, then there was a mega mix of all sorts, and there was Run DMC, Keymatic, the VHB, and Cybertron. Okay, you probably never heard of these, but it doesn't matter. Quality music, and it's still quality today. You could listen to that today and not know it was from the early 1980s. So, yeah, good stuff. So that's number 4. Let's get this one open. Oh, there's a letter inside this one. Let's have a look. So thank you for your purchase of Electro 1. So this is Electro 1. And and this has also been brewed by Deviant and Dandy, looking at the letter. So Electro 1 is Hip Hop's Fresh Barley Crucial Malt. And it is an 8.1% dipper. Oh, I like an 8.1% dipper. That's going to be right up my street. I didn't tell you what 4 was, did I? Let's go back to 4. I was that excited about it. So 4 is a Vienna lager at 4.2%. Not as exciting to me, but I'm still happy with it. And this one is Electro 3. So this one is a pale ale at 4.5%. I am going to say that's probably the least of my favourites so far. I definitely prefer the higher ABV, really like in your mouth stuff. But I guess for a sunny afternoon in the garden, that's more than tolerable. Incidentally, when you ordered these, you didn't know what you were going to get. They didn't advertise in advance that number 1 would be this and number 2 would be that. You just found out near the time that this is what it's going to be. And I'm happy with that. Independent brewery, Deviant and Dandy, so I'm quite happy to trust that they've got some good stuff going on there. So this one, by process of elimination, must be number 2, and indeed it is. And again, really, really gorgeous cans, lovely labels, really nice design. I'd like to see a case study done on this design, actually. That would be nice. Anyway, this one is a straight lager, 5.1% ABV. Okay, so a straight lager. So tonight, I'm going to go through them in the order and do number 1 and then number 2. Incidentally, I do own all of the albums, but I've just brought a couple out to show you today. But I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 beers just here. And they look absolutely stunning. So I'm going to start tonight with the 8.1% Dipper. Okay, that's a heavyweight, and I'm going to finish with a 5.1%, I think it is. Yep, 5.1% lager, okay? So big hitter, a bit more lightweight. I'm going to stick these in the fridge for an hour and then I'll come back to you. Hey folks, it's a couple of hours later. This has been in the fridge cooling nicely and I'm now going to open Street Sounds Electro Beer 1. Here it is, and it's looking fine and dandy. It says on the back, actually, Electro 1 is the first in a series of bespoke limited edition beers. Each Electro beer release has its own unique recipe and special collectible peel-off label. The artwork of each release replicates the original 1980s Electro Albums. Electro 1 is a bold 8.1% double IPA dipper right up my street. Let's get into it. Love that sound. Okay, on the nose. I'm getting a lot of sweetness and a really sort of caramelly smell. Let's get that in the glass, see how it pours. Looks really well. Nice amount of activity, not too much. Give a little flourish at the end. Right, there's a tiny bit left in the can. That will be accompanying me into the garden on this lovely evening. Right, so first of all, it's not a clear beer, but that's fine because a lot of beer isn't clear these days. So it's definitely one that's got a cloud to it, but that quite often equates to flavour. So, on the nose, I'm sort of getting caramel sweetness, something fruity there like grapes or raisins, and a bit of toffee on the back end. Let's see what it tastes like. It's like damson plum, toffee and burnt caramel. It's absolutely banging. This is right up my street. This is fresh. This is great. This is a really, really, really good beer. Massive full body. I think Deviant and Dandy Brewery, you've done a cracking job with this one. I'm very, very happy with the starter. So, high starting. Out of 5, definite 5. I could drink this all night, to be quite honest, although I'd be on my back if I did. But yeah, this is absolutely lovely. Very, very, very good. Toffee, plums, caramel, bit of burning, all sorts going on. Really, really happy with this. I'm going to go out and enjoy this. I'll come back to you shortly with Electro 2. Hey folks, I'm in the living room and I'm now going to open Street Sounds Electro 2. So this one is a 5.1% ABV, 100% organic lager. Now lagers aren't my favourite beers, but I'm not going to diss it till I've tried it. I don't want to prejudge, I'm just going to go for it. And I say lagers aren't my favourite beers because in England or in the UK, we have some pretty rubbish lagers like Carling, Foster's, Heineken. Ugh. Really pretty awful stuff. So hopefully this won't be like that, although it does have that yellow fizziness of lager. Now to me, lager often equates to lack of taste. So let's see what this is like. So first of all, on the nose, I'm not getting much. A really light hoppy malty smell, but really light. Let's see what it tastes like. It's not awful. It's not one of my favourite kinds of beer, this. If it had been 2% stronger and it had some citrus in it, I'd have been raving it, but it's a bit normal. It's a bit just like a normal lager to me, this. It's not even a Pilsner. Yeah, it's... Do you know what, right? I think that most people would really enjoy this. I'm fussy. I like my fancy beers. I think to your average lager drinker, this would be very palatable. To me, it's something which on a hot, sunny day and I'm gagging for a drink, I'd enjoy it. But under normal circumstances, I'd probably be looking to see what else there is in the fridge. So as I've already told you, I'm a big Street Sounds fanboy, but I'm being honest in my beer reviews. And whilst this is not a bad lager, it's not one for me. I mean, I'm going to drink it, obviously, but I wouldn't go out my way to buy it. It's just a lager. If you don't want a fancy beer, then this is for you. Right, cheers, folks. See you on the next one. Hey folks, it's the next day and I'm back. Before I say anything about today's beers, I just want to go back to yesterday because I realise I forgot to give the lager Electro 2 a score out of 5. I would give that 2 out of 5. It wasn't that flavoursome and it's not my kind of beer, so there's a bit of subjectivity in that, but I really didn't find it had that much flavour. The first one was banging Electro 1, 5 out of 5. Today, I'm going for Electro 3. And this is a 4.5% pale ale. Now this again is not massively up my street. It's a bit low on the ABV side, and pale ale says to me usually boring. Let's see if I'm wrong. Now it's got some good hoppy notes. It smells a bit like Cascade or something like that. I'm not quite sure what the hop is in there. I'm saying that as a hop expert, not. But I do grow Cascade hops. And that's where the familiarity came from. Because in case you've never watched my channel before, I am known to do a bit of brewing now and again. Right, so Electro 3. It's another one which is not completely clear. It's got a bit of a cloud to it. Nicely carbonated. You can see that there's plenty of life in that. And it's kept its head after pouring. Okay. Let's see what it's like. Actually, flavour-wise, that's not bad. Okay, so it's not got a bad flavour at all. Definitely a pale ale and a nice hoppy one. So the hops improve the flavour profile massively. Now it's a little bit gassy, probably a bit more gassy than I'd like an ale to be. In fact, it's making me think I'm going to burp any second. Hopefully I won't on camera, although it has been done before. But yes, I mean, you can see there's plenty of life in it, but it does seem to be quite gassy. Not as good as Electro 1, better than Electro 2. I'm going to say 3 out of 5. Yeah, 60%. Right folks, Electro 4, and this time it's another lager. So this is a Vienna lager. Now if this has been made with Viennese malt and it's got a good yeast, then this might be tasty. It's 5.2%. What I'm wanting to avoid is it being like the other lager, which was pretty tasteless to me. So let's see what this one's like. Very light smell. Not an awful lot to it actually. It's not giving anything away and I'm not getting any hops. Okay, so that's all in there. Let's give it a whirl. Definitely a better taste than the other lager. I can taste something with this one. Now it does definitely have that Vienna lager flavour. It's a bit like a Kolsch in some sort of way, actually. Or a Bonch, if you're from Bonn. It's got that, yeah, it's got that quality to it. There's a softness to the flavour. Definitely not a sweetness, but it's a softness. And it's something on the palate which just makes it really rounded flavour-wise. It's not a bad flavour at all, and it has got flavour, thankfully. Now, it is quite an authentic taste to the Vienna lager. I've had a few in my time. It's not bad, actually. It's not a bad drop. It's not an amazing drop, but it's not a bad drop. Now, 5.2%, does it taste 5.2%? I think it kind of does, really. Yeah, there's definitely more than a 5% to that, or a 5% plus. It doesn't taste like a strong lager. It's a very soft taste, but it's not bad. I'm going to give this one 3.5 out of 5. Okay, it's slightly better than the pale ale. It's definitely better than the lager, but it's not as good as the dipper that I started with. So 3.5 out of 5 for Electro 4. I'll either catch you later tonight or tomorrow for Electro 5. See you then. Right, I'm on a roll, so it's Electro 5. And this one I'm quite looking forward to. So this one is a 6% cherry sour. Now, sour beers are not normally that strong. Most of the sour beers that I have are between 3 and 5%, so a 6% is going to be a good one. Sour is usually one that's got a lot of flavour. Sometimes you get that with it, you know, like sucking on a lemon, but that's the purpose of the beer. It's a sour flavour, but it should be really, really flavoursome. I should react to the taste and the cherry should come through heavy. That's what I'm expecting. Let's see what I get. Not a massive aroma, sweet and fruity, but not huge. I'm really having to get my nose in there. Great colour, look at that. That is a fantastic looking beer. I love it. That is good. I love a beer that doesn't look like a beer. The Puritans can bugger off. So look at that, that's a cloudy one again. Not one that you can see through. Still not tons of smell. Ooh. That is sour. That's sucking on a lemon sour. Now when you have a sour beer, it normally starts like that and then finishes with a more neutral back end. It's not the best sour I've ever had. I'm really disappointed to say that, and I really, really genuinely and truly am disappointed to say that. I thought it was going to be an absolute cracker. It's lacking body. It's a bit thin. If you'd given me this and not told me it was cherry, I wouldn't have known. It would have been some indeterminate fruit sour. Now, maybe this is one of those beers where you've got to get used to the taste first. You've got to let your palate readjust before you can start to appreciate its intricacies. Clever. Now, there's no head retention, but that's not uncommon with this kind of beer. I'm still not getting cherry, but that harsh vinegariness that I was getting seems to have subsided, and I think now my mouth has adjusted to having a sour beer in it. That's why it's gone up in my estimation in the last minute. I was thinking of a low mark, but now I'm not. It's actually not that bad at all. Now, if you're not a sour beer fan, I think you'd probably pull a face at this one. I am a sour beer fan, and now I've got round to it. I'm getting it. It's good. It's not great, but it's good. There is a ton of flavour, and that vinegariness really has subsided. Honestly, I'm not getting that at all now, hardly. It's literally fruit sour with the back end of that acetic acidness. It's really back end now, that. That's incredible how the palate sort of changes with it. My first reaction when I had a drink was like, oh, not now. Yeah, this is a clever beer. I'm a fan. I've gone from one side of the scale to the other. So what does it get out of 5? It gets 4 out of 5. Okay, this is my second favourite out of all of them. So in first place is Electro 1, the Dipper. In second place is Electro 5, the Cherry Sour. In third place is the Vienna Lager. In fourth place is the Pale Ale. And in fifth place, sorry, it's just the Lager. Yeah, so Electro beers. I've enjoyed the opportunity to sample something which is a one-off brew. These aren't going to be brewed again. That's it, they're done. And to have something like this, which is real artwork, and I don't know what I'm going to do with these yet, but I am going to sort of peel a label off each of the cans that I've had so far and put them in some kind of frame. And then I'm going to keep some on cans. I don't know what I'm going to do with the others, but this is art. This is a part of music history in beer, and that's what I like about it. So I hope you've enjoyed the film, and I'll catch you on the next one, whatever that may be. Cheers, folks. This stuff is really fresh. The film that you've just watched is a Moss Home and Garden production. You can find more by going to www.mosshomeandgarden.co.uk. I'd just like to say thank you very much for supporting my YouTube channel and for watching my films. It really is very much appreciated. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my YouTube channel in order to receive future updates about the home and garden films which I upload. You can find my YouTube channel by going to www.mosshomeandgarden.co.uk. Please click on the red subscribe button. When you've done that, a little bell will appear. If you press that also, then you'll get future updates about the films which I upload. If you like my films, if you like my style of filming, then you might also like my travel channel, which you will find by going to youtube.com/Stuart Moss or type in www.mosstravel.tv. Again, if you could subscribe to that channel, it would be hugely appreciated. If you'd like to get Moss Home and Garden updates on Facebook, then please open Facebook and do a search for Moss Home and Garden, and you will find the page. If you like the page, then you will get future updates on there. And if you'd like to connect on Instagram for home, garden and travel photography, as well as some stories, then my username is StuMoss, STUMOSS. If you'd like to connect on Twitter, then my username is @StuartMoss. And if you'd like to contact me about film usage or any other issue, please just email me on stewmosshomegarden@gmail.com. Once again, thank you very much for supporting my channel, for watching my films. I do appreciate it. I'd just like you all to have a great day.